video, I'm in a bit better spirits, and I'm doing this mainly to post to my thread on Twitter, the one that I have started also on Spoutable, and now another social media site that people are determined to invite me on, which I don't know. A lot of this shit is for the young, and honestly, I am way too old for this. But on that note, because I said I was going to do this and I promised that I was going to do a series where I give financial budgeting and gardening tips for people. The gardening and other stuff will come in another video. And I need to preface this that this is for educational purposes only. I would advise you to go to a financial planner of your own choosing. Please do not give your information, banking info to a non-federally backed institution or federally credibly credited e-bank system. The tips that I am giving is for educational purposes. I do strongly advise that if you want to talk it out with an accountant or financial planner to help you understand things. With that out the way, I need to start with some of the stuff that I've seen on Twitter that made me realize that talking about this is important. Somebody had asked me the other night, well, aren't other countries' currencies dependent on our dollar? And that's when it hit me that a lot of Americans really do believe that our dollar is the strongest currency in the world. Currently, it's a strong currency. It has been strong since World War II, which on Veterans Day is very apropos. As you know, I have family who were veterans who are no longer here with us, and we always celebrate this day anyway. So when I say that bringing this up hopefully will help some people understand where we're at, I hope so. Because a lot of people are showing financial illiteracy. Now, this is a US dollar rate exchange table. I'm making it a bit bigger right here because against the euro right now, our dollar's value is about 93 cents. Their dollar value is $1.71, which means their dollar is almost $2 more in value per capita than our current dollar. It is the same for many of these currencies. Currently, the British pound, $1.29. So almost $1.30 to our US dollar. So when we trade it, we get about 77 cents on a dollar, where for the euro, we get about 93 cents for their $1.71. Other countries, like the Indian rupee, yes, we can get about almost $4 per their dollar, depending on where you trade it. The Australian dollar is another one that is just a little under per capita, but still a strong currency. We have the Japanese yen, which, like I said, their numbers seem larger than ours because their currency is backed by their own systems. But when you trade currency, like the American dollar, to other foreign currency, depending on how strong their own backed currency is, you may end up losing money initially or having a lot more than you planned. My current conversion is going to be for the Canadian dollar. Let me bump that over. The Canadian dollar currently is at 71 cents per our $1.39. So we're $1.39 over their currency. So if you trade for your dollars currently to the Canadian currency, you'll get more for like less, basically, right now. I know some people think I'm being hyperbolic. I'm being careful and strategic. I would rather right now just do this for my own well-being, and that is what I'm advising people to do, especially people in my communities. If you have the ability to transfer money, whether it's via your bank, because a lot of American banks, including my own bank, allows that, to a foreign currency, and then place that into a proper savings account, even if I'm wrong in what I feel is going to come in our economy in the next few years, You'll thank me for it because you'll have protected assets in a country that's hopefully stable. And there are plenty of tips that I'm going to give with this. Because, like I said, there are a lot of currencies out there that you can pick from, but you will lose money if you pick a currency that is currently more valued than the dollar. One of the things that I laughed at when I looked at this list is the Kuwaiti dinar is probably one of the more stronger currencies in the world. And a lot of people, especially in the community that I used to be a part of, mocked a certain person because she was dumb too. Let's face it. She didn't realize how much the dinar is worth. A lot of us make those kind of mistakes because it's embedded. Unless you go for financial training and economics, a lot of people don't think on this level. And there's no shade to you. It's the truth. It's just not done normally. You don't normally have to get that kind of financial training in your day-to-day life unless you are a stock trader, in banking, in investments, or have financial schooling. A lot of people don't think about how foreign currency goes up against our American dollar. And the fact is, for decades, our dollar was one of the stronger, if not the strongest currency. But after what happened with OPEC in the 70s, and then in the 80s when we nearly had a second major market crash, 88 to be exact, you had it where the dollar's value, while it wavered just a little bit, started to lessen compared to other countries' currency. Whether we like it or not, while our dollar is currently strong, what we have to face and honestly admit to ourselves is that a lot of us don't think outside American dollars and finances. A lot of us aren't trained to. So when somebody like me who understands basic things like conversion and currency rates are telling you that even if it's $50 here and there, and I'm going to get to the different fees and everything else with my charts, even if you start banking away 50 here, 50 there, and then you convert it over and then you save that, you'll have these assets that you can protect. And it really does depend on the system because I've had people giving me good tips all weekend, even though Sunday I was supposed to take a break from social media. One of the things that I went looking for after I realized, because I've had a PayPal account for about almost 10 years now. It's active. I use it to both transfer funds to people I care about here and abroad, and I use it for my own personal use. So it's active. It's verified to my actual banking institution. So I don't have a problem. I realized after doing some research that I can easily not only hold money, which I do in PayPal, but I can convert any money that I hold in PayPal to the Canadian loonie, which is what I am planning to do because I feel like not only is it a strong currency, it's a close to us currency that I can understand because I've visited Canada and it's a beautiful country. I'm also this week planning with a friend who is going to go to their bank to see what I need to prove myself that I'm a real person, that what I'm doing is just opening up a savings account via their branch and what that needs to entail. This is just stuff that I'm doing for myself and for my family's financial well-being. This is not the sky is falling henny penny right now. This is just proper preparing for an uncertain future. And I think a lot of people don't understand that this is where you should be no matter what. But given the current climate and situation, I don't think it's wrong to put out tips to help American people who are rightfully worried and concerned about their finances in the future. This is just tips that I'm personally going to take, and no gun to anybody's head, no shade to anybody who doesn't believe it. I just hope that when I pin this to that thread that I'm doing, that people know that this is just advice. It says, yes, PayPal can convert US dollars to Canadian dollars. Go to the wallet and select the more icon to the currency you want to convert. Click the convert currency, then select the currency you want to convert and enter the amount. PayPal will display the conversion rate on the page. You can also use their currency calculator to help you. This should only be DIY. There is going to be a lot of people that will try to say they'll do this for you, and that is dangerous. And I will say this with from the bottom of my heart and with my full chest. You should DIY this. Do not give strangers your banking information. Do not try to have anybody do this for you. That is why I want to explain this as calmly and carefully as possible so that people can do this for themselves. Because there are going to be a rise in people that try to tell you that they can do this for you. And I do not want to see people end up the victims of fraud or identity theft. I will not be putting any of my personal banking information up there. I'm just putting information that you can readily look for yourself if you don't believe the messenger. So let's go to this next picture. The minimum transaction amount for a PayPal account is a penny, which why would you even just keep a penny in there? I don't understand that. However, there are fees for currency conversion. So I guess you could convert as low as a penny, but I wouldn't recommend that. Converting between US dollars and another cryptocurrency, I'm not even going to worry about crypto right now. I have my thoughts. I know some people don't agree with me. Y'all do you. Right now, my thing is, for me personally, transferring from my currently federally backed dollar to a currently federally backed currency of my country of origin is better for my peace of mind. And I've looked up the Swiss accounts. You have to either be able to get there in person or hire a representative liaison, which is costly. But if you can afford that as an American, I would do so. The Bahamas have a lot of routes, which I'm going to get to as well. All of them require proper ID, whether there's a proper statement of where you live, actual driver's license or valid state ID, a passport, and a lot of institutions will question why you're doing this. In Japan, it is very hard. It's not impossible, but they want to make sure that if you're a foreign client, that you're not using the bank account for illegal means or organized means. That was blatant when I read that. So you take that what you will. But there are ways to secure your assets if you have liquidable assets, which is cash, or a bank account with cash in hand. And it doesn't have to be all of that. I'm not trying to tell you to put all your money into a foreign currency. That's not my place. I am just showing you what I plan on doing with my own current funds. International transfers have a fee. The currency conversion normally uses a retail exchange plus 4.5% conversion service charge. So, if you charge between $10 to $30, it's 99 cents. $30 to $79, $1.99. 80 to 250, because I go up when it's at 99, it's a $2.50 fee. $250 to $1,000 is a 1.75 fee. So it's like I said, the more money you do this with, the higher the fees. PayPal also has limits on transfers. Normally, I've never transferred more than $1,500 in a day. So I don't know people who can transfer more. Good on you. But I know that the cap currently is 60 grand per daily transfer and wire. And you do need to be careful because another person who is on Spoutable warned me that if they feel you're violating their policies with transfers, or if something seems fishy, PayPal can rescind your account. Now, like I said, I've had my account for nearly a decade. I transfer money on it regularly. I use PayPal to pay for goods. I've had it set up to subscribe to people with memberships and stuff so that I don't have to directly pull from my bank account. So I've never worried about my account being at risk of being terminated. But if you do not feel that PayPal is for you, fully understand. I realized that, and I started digging into banks in the Bahamas that you could consider. The Commonwealth Bank Limited, Scotiabank Bahamas Limited. The Bahamas have 8 commercial banks, 3 of which are owned by the Bahamas. The Bahamas is known as a tax haven due to favorable financial environments, which include corporate and personal income tax, no capital gains tax, and a strong commitment to banking secrecy. And I know a lot of people hear that and think, well, don't I have to have a lot of big money to do that? Most banks in the Bahamas will take a fund between $500 to $1,200 to open an account from what I've seen just researching. And I know for some that seems like a lot too. So it's like I said, there are options. I'm going to get to some others too. This is just what the Bahamas have said for Americans who want to open a savings or offshore investment account via them. Then we have Canada, which, like I said, because of a friend of mine, I am definitely interested in a savings account over there. And since I'm already planning to convert any money I'm currently holding in my, fund account to the Loonie, it makes sense. Now, their rules, and let me make this just a little bit bigger, are Canada has sanctions on several countries, but there are still many Canadian banks that allow Americans to open accounts. RBC, Scotiabank, which is just like the Scotiabank in the Bahamas, only ran by the Canadian government. The National Bank of Canada, HSBC Bank of Canada, and Canadian Western Bank. Other banks include the Bank of Montreal, Canadian Imperial Bank, TD Canada Trust Bank, or Toronto Dominion Bank. Banks may refuse to open an account if they believe the account will be used for illegal or fraudulent purposes. So you need to be clear with whoever you're working with, or if you choose to, because it's not that far of a drive for us. So if we have to go to where my friend is to get this done, we're game. I don't have no problem with that. But for those of you who don't and have to do it the e-way, through e-banking, you need to be prepared to answer questions that you may seemingly take offense to, but you shouldn't, because you are a foreign person trying to open up a bank account in another country. Be mindful that they have to ask these questions. Be mindful that it is better for you to have all of your valid ID and paperwork available for them to peruse. That's why I said this should be a DIY. You should not be using other people to do this for you. The Government of Canada website, which I went on first, has general information about opening a Canadian bank account. I'm going to bop this to the next one. Opening up an international bank account. This is something that I researched as well. Ready to open up an overseas account? Simply select your current location and where you would like to open your account, and we'll guide you. And this is HSBC International Services. I also asked, can you open a bank account online internationally? Yes, you can open an international account online without paying account opening fees. Some banks will let you open an international account online, but this isn't always an option with a bank. Account opening is normally free with banks, but there might be a minimum deposit to open the account, and that's every bank account. When I opened my account years ago, I had to put I added, thank God to my grandmother, a substantial amount to put in there. I think people need to understand that it really is going to be on you. Know what funds you have to work with and do your best to mitigate giving your information to anybody but that institution. I'm going to warn again. Some of these e-banks that I found are pretty nice to have, and I'm going to make these bigger. We have Wise, we have Monzo, HSBC, which I just used as a reference before. And while it's legal for U.S. citizens to own foreign bank accounts, there are additional tax and reporting requirements. I don't mind reporting. Germany is considered the top EU country for opening a non-resident bank account. Germany has a stable banking system and offers a wide range of services. The thing is, in researching, because I speak German, and I do have family that has been stationed over there for purposes, you have to be a resident, whether you're on a work visa, from everything I've seen so far. And anybody who in the thread or in my comment section on this video want to correct me if I'm wrong, everything I've looked, you have to be in person. Even though this thing is saying e-banking is possible, and I will continue to research to see if there's any German e-banks, but I am telling you from everything that I've initially found, it will not be easy to just open a German bank account. They are first and foremost for people who plan to live, work, and contribute to German society. So if you are expecting Deutschland to just allow you to open a bank account and not understand that they really want it to be for their citizens, you're going to be out of luck. I am just trying to warn you ahead of time that be careful just taking this information at face value. Please research and be careful. Austria is also another country that allows banks to accommodate non-citizens, such as Erste Bank, Sprexes. To open an account in Austria, non-citizens will need to visit the bank in person, provide a valid ID passport, and proof of residence in their home country, like a utility bill, bank statements, and other things that have your home address. That's why I said this is going to be DIY for people, and I hope you understand that unless you want to risk yourself getting identity theft. Another group of banks that are e-based that will allow you to currency convert, and your money should be safe. So that gives you options if PayPal is not optional to you, or if you don't trust your current banking institution, which I hear that a lot amongst Americans too. We have Revolut. I don't like this. Seems like very youthful things for me. Capital One 360, Charles Schwab Bank, which a lot of us in New York know about Charles Schwab, Wise, Ally, and once again, HSBC Expat Premier Account. These services will allow you to open accounts even if you cannot be on the soil of the currency you wish to convert. They offer international and online banking options for American citizens who want to protect their assets. It's like I said, I am just offering advice, y'all. You don't have to take it. I am not forcing. This video was made because for me, it will be easier to just pin this to that thread that I'm doing. I feel like it's just helpful to give people options right now. Whether you want to believe that our economy will be fine in the next few years or not, or whether you understand that we should be taking precautions, these are just tips from me to you in ways to protect your assets while you have them. And because there's a lot more e-banking options and options with PayPal, it will help those who are on limited budgets have an avenue to start doing this. Now is the time to build your nest egg. Now is the time to talk with a financial planner while you have them available, if you have them available. Now is the time to be proactive. That is all I wanted to say. And I will probably be back. The next video will be gardening. I am taking a break from Twitch for just a bit. Couple of weeks to just relax. Get ready for a nice cozy holiday with my husband and son. And then I plan to come back to my Twitch stream then. But I'm going to upload this to YouTube because it's easier to share the YouTube link to Spoutable and Twitter and that new site. And that's it. Thank you for watching. And once again, please advise with a financial planner or accountant. This video is for education purposes, and I will see you again later.